Hey, beautiful soul. Welcome to The Cosmic Catch-Up. I'm Corri.
And I'm Dana. We're real-life sisters who said no thanks to the 9-to-5 grind and yes, please, to the stars, spirit, and soul-led living.
Around here, we're talking Ascension, astrology, human design, sound healing, and the messy magic of waking up.
So if you've ever thought, there's got to be more than this, you're our people. Two sisters, deep talks, whole lot of magic. Let's catch up. Hello.
Hi.
How you doing?
Welcome back to another day of podcasting.
I feel like we do this all the time.
Feels like we were just here.
We were just here.
That's probably due to time speeding up.
It must be. Definitely it's going faster.
Yeah. Well, it's good to see you again, even though
Love
I
it.
see you every day almost, I feel like.
It's the best part of your day.
It really is.
Don't forget.
It really is. I love it. I love all of it. We had a lovely brunch today.
We did.
Which is fabulous. My husband and one of my sons came and he said 2 words.
He was a little surly teenager today, but
yeah, he was prickly.
it was, I guess, good to see that he is like a normal teenage boy.
We say that because my oldest is not. He's
in a
like,
good way.
In a good way. Like he's never been surly. He's never been
He's sassy.
He's sassy, but moody. Yeah, he has moments, but for the most part, he's very social and friendly, and he'll.
Well, this kid is a Gemini rising, so even if you wanted him to not talk, he is incapable of not talking. Like,
so there you go.
So there you go.
But this one, my 14-year-old, is like, is it time to go yet?
Are you in a mood? And then you get a stare. You get that bad stare. Like,
so
I might cut you in your sleep.
I was surprised actually. Well, when I said, "Hey, we're going to First Watch," he's like, "I'm there."
Oh, well,
this was
happy.
last night. He was
That's
happy.
Awesome.
This morning,
he's
not a morning
happy.
person.
Just not again, this was at what, 10:30, so it's not early morning.
For him, it is. He likes to sleep till noon. Again, typical teenager. So
yeah.
There we go. Anyway, so we digress.
We could talk about Ian forever. We love him so much.
So we have could be a triggering topic for some. So I'm gonna put that flag out there and know that if it is triggering for you, maybe ask why. Because we're just going to share our experience. And so I would say more than anything, do your own research and homework. That's what we can't say that enough. Mm-hmm. As the one researcher in me, I'm telling you, I went down rabbit holes like no one's business, and I still am going down rabbit holes on certain things. So know that, again, this comes from my own personal experience, my own research, our conversations that we've had, shared, again, research and whatnot. And so, yeah.
I think what we hope that if you continue listening to this episode, what you get out of it is to start critical thinking.
Or continue critical thinking.
Yeah, continue critical thinking. And if you haven't thought about some of these things, maybe do a little thought starters, conversations. But it's not meant to necessarily change your beliefs or, again, take what resonates, leave the rest kind of situation. But yeah, I hope it's just makes you think a little. Yeah, start questioning or continue questioning things.
So you might be going, well, what are you guys going to talk about?
Was that enough of a build up?
So we are talking about what we're calling our Matrix Awakening. And it's different. It can be combined with the spiritual awakening.
It can happen at the same time.
It can happen at the same time. But for us, our spiritual awakening, I think, happened first. Mm-hmm. And then the Matrix Awakening started unfolding specific to events that began in 2020.
Yes. And you know what we're talking about.
And when you know.
Yeah.
And I would say we got a little bit of a heads up before 2020, and I think it was 2019.
Yeah.
Our spiritual healer was talking about lockdowns are coming, and there's going to be a lot of fear going on, and that we needed to stay in our space and our power, and not get
don't get caught up in it.
Caught up in what you're seeing.
Right. Yeah. It was more coaching on not listening to the outside world and really listening to your inner world, your inner guide, your higher self, your intuition, and to kind of close your eyes and ears to what was happening in the world around you in order to discern what was really true. So we spent a lot of time. She coached us in a lot of ways around that. And I think it really helped prepare us for everything that unfolded after.
Absolutely. So I would say we were not overly surprised. We were still surprised.
It was just weird.
It was weird.
To me, it just felt very surreal, like unreal and weird. I was like, oh, okay. This is okay. This never happened before,
Yeah. And so we're going to, I think, start with just a quick, brief snapshot of what happened when we learned, being in corporate America, that we were closing down. And it was March 2020. And we had different experiences while working at the same company. I was a leader in the organization. And there were expectations of leaders, not so
individual contributors like I was. We had a little bit more flexibility.
Yeah. So when we learned about it, I think we all kind of laughed and said, okay, well, we'll see you in a week or two.
Yeah. I remember specifically it was March 16th. Went in, it was like a Wednesday. Went into the office like a normal day. And it was only there a couple hours when somebody leaders started coming by saying, take your laptop and go home. Like, why? I mean, again, this is coming from a girl who didn't watch the news, had not heard of anything going on in any other country or whatever. So I was like, why are we going home? And then somebody said, oh, didn't you hear about that? And I was like, okay, whatever. I'm happy to go home. I have no desire to be in a building. So that's fine with me. And they're like, yeah, it'll be about 2 weeks, we think, and you'll come back. And then it was 2 years later that we came back.
For ICs, for sure.
For individual contributors.
For myself, we started going back as leaders once a week into the office, I think in 2021. And so, but man, how was it for you being at home? Like, I mean, every day being at home.
Loved every minute of it. And I had never had the opportunity to work from home doing my job, but I had friends who had different types of careers who may have worked from home a little bit here and there. And I always imagined I would probably like it. I loved it. It was the best thing ever. And this is, as an introvert, I absolutely loved it. I remember, though, you weren't so sure.
Well, for me, I now had 2 kids doing school at home. My husband actually never stayed at home.
His company didn't.
It was like a week, and then they were back at the office. So that was actually probably good for us. But I actually enjoyed it more than I thought I would, because I had worked from home, because I had a remote job. My company was in Chicago.
You knew what it was
and so I knew what it was like, but I would get bored. But I think that was more of my job than, because I was not bored, by the way. I was on calls, back-to-back calls, team calls every single day. So it was never boring, but there was a piece about it. And I think, looking back, and I think we can say this with certainty, we were in our own energy.
Yes.
It was very calm for me.
Yeah. I think the lockdown situation had a bigger purpose. I mean, there's lots of layers to this stuff as we get into this kind of matrix idea. There's lots of layers to all this. And there was the surface layer of control that we're sending all these people home, figure it out. There was this level of control. But I think if you take a step back and look at the broader spiritual picture, what it did for us, because that 2020 was really a pivotal point in the ascension process of humanity and the planet. And there was lots of astrological aspects that support all of these energies. But with that, it was allowed all of us to start being in our own energy when you're not surrounded by other people all the time, because we are giant magnetic fields that are pulling in other people's energy and bouncing off of it all the time, that we just think it's normal, and you don't really recognize it until you are in your own space. Now, and I'm saying that for people with families, it was your family's space, but this was energy that you're familiar with all the time anyway, versus your coworkers or going to the grocery store or, going to the movies, which we all stopped doing, or getting on a plane, which didn't happen. So you're not surrounded by stranger energy. You're really sitting with who you are for the most part. And in that, some marriages failed. They realized we don't have compatible energy anymore. From that perspective. So it served a greater purpose of allowing you to start really understanding what your own energy is and what it needs. And it really solidified, those of you who are working on it, like your intuition, and starting to listen to that.
Also, I think people started seeing possibly how much they were working, because for me, I started doing walks every morning, and I could do them at various times whenever I had free time, right? So it wasn't first thing. I know people who lost a ton of weight because they actually had the time.
They were active.
Because they were very, very active. And so it started showing people
we got healthier.
Cracks in the system.
Yeah, cracks in the system. But we got healthier.
Yeah.
There weren't hour-long commutes or even 30-minute commutes anymore. You could exercise or take a quick 15-minute cat nap if you needed to recharge for the afternoon. That's me. People started paying attention to what they were buying and what they were eating and what they had access to. It also showed us, I never imagined, and most, I would say, from the corporate space. Now, some jobs cannot be done remote. There's just some that you can't do.
That's right.
But never was it ever imagined by any company that I worked for that we'd ever have the ability to work from home. And then within 2 weeks, we've got Teams. And there's Zoom, and there's lots of tools. Lots of these technology tools that came out of nowhere, sort of felt like, that facilitated us working from home and showed us, there's a different way to do this. There's a healthier way to do this. There's a better way to do this. And it showed like how resilient and how flexible we can be.
And I feel like you mentioned it earlier, but there were astrological markers.
Oh yeah.
That also basically
this
called this out.
This is a turning point. This is a turning point. Lots of stuff that happened in 2020 really ushering in 2021 and 2022 and even still today that are ushering the crumbling of what we're calling the matrix system. So let's define.
Yeah.
What's matrix mean?
What does matrix mean? Well, for us, it's the illusion of a system that basically has been constructed by, we don't know.
We'll say some nefarious folks.
There you go. Just to keep us disconnected from our power.
To control
us. And it's not just, here's the thing, because we're going to talk probably a lot about government, media, we're going to cover, but there's just a whole machine where you talk about the medical system, the education system, food, nutrition. There's a whole plethora of things.
Healthcare, pharma.
We'll jump into that a little bit more. But basically, they tell us how to think, how to feel, how to behave, without ever encouraging us to ask why. And I can tell you, I felt like I was on an island with my leadership team when I felt like I was the only one asking questions. And everyone's like, well, if so-and-so's doing it, I'm doing it. Everyone's doing it. And I'm thinking, what is happening?
You feel like you're taking the crazy pills.
I thought I was crazy because I'm the one saying, wait, this doesn't make sense. And my one in my profile kicked into high gear.
Human design. It does serve a purpose.
I tell you what, I was listening to, I shouldn't say I was listening to everything. I was listening to alternative sources to get a differing opinion on what the heck was going on.
And why did you feel like you had to listen to alternative sources? What were you getting from the usual suspects?
I was seeing the same thing from every source. It was like they had just picked up a script and put it over here. And I thought, this is weird.
Since when does Fox News and CNN and MSNBC and all of those outlets and newspapers all use like the exact wording? Like their broadcasters are saying the exact same thing.
It was weird. And I think I would say we did not pick up on it initially because we jumped on the mask bandwagon because they said, put them on. I was making them. I love to craft. I think I told you guys that. I'm like, I'm going to make these. They're so great. They're so fun, right?
Look at all these fun colors of masks.
Yeah. But then I don't remember what the turning point was. I don't know if it was Ginny
was a few months, and I do think Ginny Hussey had a big influence on us.
Because we were still going to our circle.
And yeah, we're still doing, like, she was still hosting them. Didn't matter if you were supposed to be at home or not. She's like, I'm going to hold them. You can come if you feel comfortable.
And we all came.
We all came. And she did not require any masks.
Yeah.
So we're like, cool, I'm not going to wear this thing.
Yeah, cool.
And then she talked about, I think, started to open her eyes like, have you thought about, or what do you think? Or look at this over here. And that's really what opened up my eyes to, I am a rule follower.
Yes.
And I have been blindly following these rules, and I haven't asked any questions.
Yep.
I've just done what I've been told.
Yep.
And I had to really ask myself, like, do you want to keep doing that? And the answer was no.
Well, and I think when she planted that seed, I went to my research and went, oh, wait, viruses are so microscopic
Tiny.
that a mask is like a chain link fence. It just blows right through. And when you think about those masks, by the way, mass produced in China are made with chemicals. So, okay, let's just say for argument's sake, it did protect you. You're still breathing in chemicals from these mass produced, cheaply flimsy things all day, every day. And when we were told we had to go back to the office as leaders in 2021, it started out, I think, as 1 day a week, and then it became 2 days. And we had to wear them anytime. And luckily we had offices, so we didn't have to wear them in our own offices. But if we were in a meeting with people, we had to wear them. And everyone thought it was stupid, but everyone still did it.
Everyone agreed this makes no sense. Like the restaurant thing too, which there were plenty of comedians out there making fun of this. We all questioned it, where was you walked in and through the restaurant, you had to wear your mask. I think this was 2021 when it started to lighten up. And then when you sat down at your table, you could take off your mask for your whole meal. And then when you left, you had to put it back on.
But if you stood up.
As if. Nothing could penetrate below a certain height. I mean, it was just like, this is crazy. This is so weird.
And we knew it was crazy.
Yeah. By that point, we were awake to it. But
and we had stopped wearing masks, I think, in the end of 2020.
Yeah, it was. I remember
we wore it for 6 months, let's call it.
Yeah, maybe 6 months. But I remember toward
and then
the
we're
end
like, we're done. Well, and Jenny also encouraged us to not and see what would happen. And I still remember
there was no law.
There was no law.
You were not going to get arrested. Yeah. They wanted you to think that something bad was going to happen, but there was technically nothing legal anyone could do if you didn't wear one. And so we had to get brave. And we were terrified because we never step out of line. No. And now this is the first time that we're like, we're going to take a stand. Now it wasn't, for me, it wasn't about like the fear of the law or anything. It was more of getting verbally abused by people. Someone calling you out and being like, what are you doing? How dare you? You're hurting everybody.
Yes.
They made this a moral issue.
They did.
Which is weird.
Which is also weird. So I still remember, I think we went to Marshall's.
Something like that, yeah.
We were like, okay, we're not going to wear masks.
We're going to do it together. We're going to do it together and not wear it.
And so we did, and we walked in and I was kind of hoping to see at least one other person not wearing one.
Yeah.
There wasn't anybody.
We were the only ones, but
no one said a word. And we actually, because the rows are kind of close, we would get in and someone would say, oh, excuse me. Oh, so no worries. And people were pleasant.
Still polite.
I think we got a few maybe
some looks,
but no one ever said anything. Mm-hmm. So that kind of helped
build the confidence,
make us a little braver. Mm-hmm. And we went to, I forget if it was 21. It was 21, the end of anyway. So it was us and another friend. We went to dinner. Mm-hmm. And we all walked up without masks, and this sweet little 17-year-old greeter was like, "You gotta put your mask on," and we're like, "But our table's right there. Can we just go sit down?"
3 steps.
Put your mask on. I can't see you without your mask.
That was the only time anybody said anything.
Only time, but we were like, "Okay."
And then we walked 3 steps and we took them off.
Sat down and took it off. It was so weird.
It's very weird.
So we were starting to see though things like that became very apparent,
questionable.
That it was like, this doesn't make any sense.
No, and there was an argument around, well, in hospitals, hospital staff and surgery wear masks. And, you doing your research discovered that they wear them so they don't get, well, and I think our mom worked in the hospital system. Yeah. She confirmed this, is that so they don't get bodily fluids sprayed in their face and their nose when they're cutting someone open.
That's right.
It's not to protect against germs.
Correct. And that I think was the craziest thing is that, and there were doctors, specialists, scientists, a few, not many, but a few were speaking out on that.
The few that did got canceled.
And all of a sudden, they're not, and it's like they've won awards, they've been published, all these things, and all of a sudden they were being canceled. So that made me go, wait a minute. Mm-hmm. Those are the people I'm going to listen to, because there's some reason that no one wants us to hear
the other side.
The other side of the story. And when is that ever the case? Science is based on opinion.
It's hypothesis, and then we go prove it out.
That's right.
But
there was only one.
There was only one hypothesis.
And then you started seeing people,
one theory.
They were just being attacked. And it was like, wait.
They were losing their practices, losing medical license for just speaking out.
Their opinion, by the way.
And having an alternate view of what was going on.
Yes. And so
alternate treatment plans, all kinds of things.
Those are the types of things that started making us go, wait a minute. This isn't right. This is not right.
Well, there's some system behind this. There's some group, something that is putting this narrative, this story out there that we're all supposed to believe. And you did some research.
Oh, yeah.
On that made it real suspect real fast.
Well, and again, my research started with the masks. And I started going down the rabbit hole. And I told you all that part of my dark night was with my kids in their school. And that's because the school, this was when the mask mandate was gone. And then all of a sudden, right as school was starting, they decided to bring it back because a new variant had come out. And I had written letters saying, here's the research. This does not do anything. And I didn't want my kids breathing in the toxic chemicals from these masks. That's what made me decide, okay, I'm going to move my kids, which was a big deal.
Well, you went back and forth, and I think, if I'm recalling correctly, the principal said, well, the diocese has mandated this. So that opens up the can of worms of religion, too.
So now I've got education and religion that I'm
and the medical
questioning.
System.
And the medical system already. But you start adding now, I'm like, okay, well, first of all, why is the diocese the boss of my children? This is
why
a select
am I not the boss
few
of my children?
Men who, by the way, don't have children because they're priests, and they're going to dictate how my kids live. I do not think so. So for me, it was more the principle of you are not the boss of my family, and therefore I have to pull my kids out because I'm not allowing you to make these decisions for me.
And school had already started.
They've been there, I think, a couple days or a week.
But through divine intervention and your higher self guided you to
another school, and it was a Christian school. So again, I'm not wasn't anti-religion. I just was starting to see chips in the Catholic Church that, again, I'd never questioned before. So we moved to a Christian school who said, you know what? And it was a smaller school, and it was, by the way, 3 times the cost. Yeah. So that was another thing that we had to weigh. But said, parents, we all asked you what you wanted to do. You said you wanted to be optional. We are giving you that option. What?
You asked the parents?
You asked the parents?
What they wanted for their children?
And you're doing what the parents want?
And they're going to listen?
Yeah. Okay, sign me up.
Pretty good school.
So that's where we flipped a switch. They weren't starting school yet. So the kids got to be home
a couple more days
before they started again. This was easy for my oldest. It was not for my youngest. And that was the guilt I had for, even though I knew in my heart of hearts, and this is where the intuition really had to come in, because I felt so strongly that we needed to move. And my husband, bless him, supported it, again, despite the cost. School was 25 minutes away, but we were at home. So I was like, we can take him to school. It's fine. So all of these things, I just felt it was right. And but then I started going down rabbit holes of, okay, what's going on with the education system? Mm-hmm. What's going on with religion? And then, because again, we were rule followers, all of a sudden it's like, wait, why do we follow these few people that tell us all the rules?
Look at all these rules.
All what these
structures of society. I've just been doing it because everybody's doing it. Yeah. Do I agree with it?
Yeah. What? And it became a realization of everything in society has become a one-size-fits-all. Mm-hmm. Even though we are all very unique, very different. Me and my son are left-handed. My other son and my husband are right-handed. I mean, that's a silly thing, but we're different. There are no accommodations all through school for having left-handers. It was always a right-handed desk, by the way. So left-handers had to make exceptions, right? We had to figure out how to do things differently. Maybe that's why I'm more of a critical thinker. I don't know.
Well, and when you look at the system, and you can go back, and there's lots of people who talk about this, so please do your own research. But basically, the Rockefellers, that family founding, our school system, like the education system that we use today, as well as our medical system that we use today. And there's quotes from these old people that are like, we're creating good workers.
That's right. That's all we wanted.
We want good workers. So you think of like, we go to school at a certain time, you go to lunch at a certain time, you maybe get 10 minutes of fresh air as a little kid every day, maybe 15 minutes if you have a nice school for recess. And you look at that regimented schedule, and there's certain subjects that are written by a limited few groups of people. And that's what you have to learn. And you learn by memorization and rote. And we all don't think the same. We all aren't built the same. We know that everyone learns differently. And yet every child is sandwiched, if you go to a traditional school, sandwiched into the same system for education, even though you might like be a visual learner or an auditory learner or, you know, learn by doing. Those aren't options. It's one size fits all.
That's right.
And you are trained, having been trained, to be that good employee, essentially, is what you're, and a good like government follower.
Well, and it was funny to me, although it's not really funny, when my kids came home and, you know, they had to learn math a new way. It doesn't matter how you got to the right answer. If you didn't do it the way they wanted, it was counted wrong. Mm-hmm. Like, what does it matter?
You got the right
answer. The how is irrelevant, right? But it was forcing them to think a certain way that they wanted you to think, and they wanted to know, can we condition you to think the way we want you to think? So all of a sudden, you're going, well, wait a minute, I don't like this at all.
No,
and
this doesn't make sense. What was wrong with old math?
Yeah, recess has been pulled, even art classes, because they don't want you using your imagination. They don't want you thinking differently.
We don't teach anyone how to think critically. We don't teach people how to ask questions. In fact,
very apparent through work when no one was asking any questions.
No one's, and we're not, you know, you were sort of criticized. Like sometimes teachers don't take questions.
Yeah.
Or they don't want questions, or they will answer one of your questions, but if that leads to any more, sorry, we're out of time. We have to switch subjects.
Yeah.
So you're really trained to not think at all.
Yeah.
From the age of 5.
Well, and I think that's why parents have gotten so up in arms, which is great, about the things now that are being taught in schools and what's appropriate, what's not appropriate. Mm-hmm. And I think that it had to get to a catalyst.
You have to go so far over the line before people wake up to bring it back.
Yep. Mm-hmm. But, you know, what I did see is when we changed schools, we found a few other parents who felt like we did, but did not pull the trigger on changing schools because they're so caught up in this matrix, their life that they were living, the status that they had,
the ego,
the perceived status that they had,
and the false ego.
They didn't want to let that go.
Yeah.
Never mind the harm, which they thought, oh, it's not that bad. It'll be fine. And here's the thing. We don't know long-term effects of any of the things that have been happening. Wearing masks 24/7, getting this in the arm.
Well, I guarantee you there were some long-term effects on the littles.
Oh, for sure.
I worked with a young woman who had 2 young children in daycare. Like one might have been 3 or 4. The other one was like 1 or 2. And they both had speech development delays. That they started, after masks were gone, they started, you know, taking them to speech therapy. They're all fine now, but I didn't say anything at the time because it was not my place. But the first thing my intuition told me was, of course they have speech delay because their teachers were wearing masks. We learn how to speak based on how our mouths are moving. And if you, as that little child, 2, 3, 4 years old, cannot see the motions that your lips are making, how are they going to learn how to speak properly? Of course not. Now, they were able to catch up and be fine now, but they had to have like speech therapy to get there. Yeah. So I'm like, yeah, there's effects, people. There's effects.
Well, and so if we go back even to 2021, we talked about the news and how everything was being mimicked, and you got the same story across the board anywhere you went. Social.
Yep.
All of a sudden, people were being silenced. They had what they called fact checkers.
Who, if you research the fact checkers, were just Joe Schmoes getting a paycheck.
We could have been hired.
And
they were told, here's basically what you need to block. We may get blocked for this. We don't know.
It's fine. I'll take it as a badge of honor.
But you had these fact checkers for social. You also had Zuckerberg come out and recently said how he was threatened, right, by the government. We, by the way, worked for a company who does business with the government. So we had to abide by whatever the government said.
Government contractors were lumped into whatever government regulations they
yep.
put on their own employees.
That's right. So you've got, and then we started seeing celebrities take the stage, and we're being paid to say the same thing that the news was. And by the way, if you had a difference of opinion, what were you labeled, Dana?
A conspiracy theorist.
So you started seeing gaslighting.
Yeah.
For anyone who thought differently, you were not welcome. And I actually had a friend freak out on me when she found out I was not doing this thing. We were at lunch and she was like, "Oh my God, how can you not do this?" And I was like, I'm not putting a foreign object in my body. I don't feel good about that. And by the way, we never really spoke of it again. She did not stop talking to me or anything. We're still friends, but it was a defining moment where I realized how brainwashed she was.
Well, when you get into the influence of Hollywood and celebrities and just even social media influencers, they did a great job. We mentioned this before about making it a moral issue.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to, kill grandma if you don't do this. And they really, and of course, I have compassion for everyone who did, because they were just trying to do what they thought was right.
Sure.
They were trying to be good people. Ultimately, they wanted to be a good person because they made it a moral issue, not a science issue. So I'm like, kudos to all that marketing that pharma and government
as marketers
did, which is why I can't be a marketer anymore, because it's such manipulation that I don't believe in. But with that, they did a great job of making it a moral issue. So of course, people want to be good people, but unless you're able to think critically, you're going to just fall in line. And having worked at a pharma company, and I'm going to say pharma this is a skincare pharma.
Yeah.
So we're talking psoriasis and eczema, topical, some pills, some ingestibles, but topical prescriptions.
But your skin is the fastest absorber.
It is.
Of any of this. So
of any medicine type of thing. But I remember it takes 10 years to bring a drug to market. And you're going to tell me in less than 2 years, you feel like this is safe? You've done all your trials when we know they didn't.
Well,
they didn't.
And we didn't know any long-term effects.
We had no long-term. You take a drug for 10 years so you can get some long-term data. And I'm not saying that they're all above board that are doing this, because I don't believe they are. But there were certain standards in place to account for some of this. So I'm like, oh, hell no, I'm not. Yeah. I'm not letting anything that's not gone through the right amount of testing into my body. And also knowing how a cold works.
Yeah. Also that. And the flu.
Knowing how all of that works.
So I had gotten the thing, the flu, in, I think it was November of 2021. Kind of went around my family. I think I had it the worst. My brother, he was living with us at the time. It was pretty bad for him.
It was all around
my
Thanksgiving.
Kids were I think
patient
actually,
zero was one of your sons.
I think one of my sons, actually, but it was very short and brief for him.
Kids were fine.
Yeah, no big deal. Mom got it, but she was, again,
she's pretty mild,
elderly, but she was pretty mild. And I don't think did you ever?
I did not get it. I got it coming back from Portugal.
Okay.
And I think I gave it to a friend, but mine was not as bad as yours, but it was not great. It felt like a bad flu.
But it also, here's the thing too.
It was like 6 months later.
But what we know now, I'm not even convinced that viruses can be passed people to people.
It might not have been.
So there's a lot going on within our own cellular systems that, again, I started researching, and there's a lot of different doctors that are saying different things. So again, I'm staying open to the possibility of, it could be a lot of different things, but so we don't really know.
Correct.
How viruses
I'm not
really
a scientist
effects.
or a medical professional.
No, I just like to read a lot of research. But I would say one of the things as I was doing research, and again, so the kids, let's say 2021, they're moving. New school, they're set up, we're good, masks are optional, the end. We're back at work. I'm now going 2 days a week. But I have found an alternate social source that doesn't have fact checkers. And so I was getting more information there. Someone that I really found very interesting was Dr. David Martin. He is a patent researcher and basically was sharing with anyone who would listen that patents for these drugs and I think actually SARS was happening 10 years ago. And so he was shouting that, and well, that's interesting. And then a lot of various professionals, they could be entrepreneurs, doctors, like a variety of people, I think, that were close or even doing their own research, had shared the Event 201.
Ooh, tell me more about that.
Which is the most well-known. This is
World Economic Forum, right?
The World Economic Forum. Yes. So let me find. It was October 2019.
Okay.
And it was held in New York.
So
and
like
it
6
was
months prior to all this stuff going
down.
Well, in the U.S.
We think it started in December.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, that's true. Yeah. So it's only a couple months.
So a couple months, but it was hosted by Johns Hopkins. But it was also the World Economic Forum and the Gates Foundation who go down that rabbit hole.
Creepy.
And it simulated a coronavirus jumping from pigs to humans and killing 65 million people over 18 months. It brought together business leaders, health officials, the government to figure out how to manage panic, control the narrative, and protect the economy. Now, that one was the one most known, okay? And you can watch it. You can find clips of it on...
All of this is on the internet.
It's on the internet. You can go look it up. But before that, actually, there were 2 other simulations that took place. And the first one was called Clade X. I don't know where that name came from. Don't ask me. But it was put on by Johns Hopkins in 2018. And it basically was imagining a genetically engineered virus released by a terrorist group. And then it supposedly killed 10% of those infected. But it exposed how governments and systems would fail. So misinformation, travel bans, vaccine delays, poor communication. So while it wasn't what exactly happened to us, it reads like a dry run.
Okay.
So that one happened in 2018. Then there was Crimson Contagion that ran in 2019. So not that far off, right? That was January to August because the other one I think was October. So this one was by the Department of Health and Human Services in the U.S. And they ran a scenario where a flu-like virus started in China and spread rapidly across the U.S.
Interesting.
And then in their scenario, over 500,000 deaths occurred. And so again, their simulation revealed huge weaknesses in our systems. So federal and state coordination, ICU capacity, stockpiling medical gear. Does any of that sound familiar?
Did they list toilet paper?
So they didn't. They didn't. I know that's another story. I'm just getting through my stockpile of toilet paper
from 5 years ago. So you were the problem.
No, I'm kidding. No, we didn't have much when it all ran out. So then I was like, I will never not have toilet paper ever again.
Not have toilet paper.
But don't get me down that rabbit hole of what I think is in toilet paper.
Oh yeah. Once you open this can of worms, I mean,
it's really hard to go back.
What is it? The red pill? We took the red pill.
We took the red pill. Yes. So I think so then the biggest piece in all of this, and I think it was at the end, I think it was 2022, actually, where the government was now mandating these shots for everyone. And our company was saying, no, optional, and we knew it was coming.
Yeah.
Until they said, no, it's now mandatory.
We did our first family protest.
So we did, and our brother joined us, and this is the crazy thing though. It really felt very movie-esque because we were in the underground. We would find certain people who, like, just little things they would say where you're like, oh, you're like me, like you're not going to do it.
You couldn't talk about it openly.
You couldn't talk
about your own medical choices with confidence.
And I was getting a lot of pressure.
Morally, like,
Well,
You were going to get canceled.
I will say, as a leader in the organization, and I'm talking to president and even this CEO is in meetings, and they're all talking about when you're going to go, where you're going to go, how fast you can get there, different options. And I had one specifically look at me and say, so have you gotten it yet? And I said, no, I haven't. And then it's like, well, when are you going to do it? And I kind of had a deer in headlights, and my friend who was with me, she knew what my position was, and she jumped in and said, oh, and so she started talking. I'm like, I'm gonna go over here, because I felt very much on an island, and I actually think out of the whole company, I was one of a handful of leaders who did not do it.
Yeah.
And I had a friend at the time.
We don't want to shame anyone who did.
No, not at all. I will tell you though, my two good friends who were also same positions as I was, I openly shared I was not, and I would encourage them to do their research, and I sent them information. And sadly, they ignored me and thought I was crazy, which fine, whatever. But one friend said to me, well, because she wanted to, oh, by the way, became my boss one day. So it worked. She said, well, because everyone's doing it, I'm going to go do it. And if I grow two heads, like, you know,
oh well,
let's hope that doesn't happen. So she was even joking because she knew how, I'd say, risky it was. But she's like, but I want to climb the ladder, so I'm going to do it.
That is also part of the matrix.
And that's part of the matrix. And my boss at the time, I was very open with him, and I said, you will have to fire me. I will not do this. And then the company came out and said, well, you can do an exception if you want, but there's going to be very few we grant. Like, they really tried to scare you
into it.
I had a very good friend who was crying, going, I don't want to do this, but I can't lose my job. And a lot of people were like that and ended up doing it. And I said, hold out, hold out, hold out.
Well, think of all the medical personnel that were fired. Think of all the military people that were let go because they chose not to do this. I mean,
and now they're winning lawsuits.
They're winning lawsuits for it. Like this, it was such a crazy time that.
How can you force me to put something in my body to keep a job?
Right. Like, that's insane. Control.
And it's so funny because I won't make this, I don't want to make this political, but it was interesting enough to us to say, why is it that when you don't want to keep an unborn child, it's your body, your choice, but when you don't want to put a foreign drug in your body, you can't say my body, my choice. Like, it was fascinating. So again, we're seeing this in real time, starting to question, like really questioning it, like questioning like I've never questioned anything before. So it got crazy in our world because our company was 60,000 people.
Yeah.
So we were finding groups that just were not on the same page. And so actually one of my good friends is one who she and one of her friends are the ones who started a protest with the organization and said, we're not doing this. And so I initially, and this was where my fear came in, I wasn't going to go because, again, as a leader, I was like, I don't know that I want to risk my position. So someone I knew only via our group chats reached out and said, I'm going to be in the area for this demonstration. Are you going to be there? And it made me think, and I said, you know what? I have to do this.
Yeah.
More for myself because again, I pulled my kids out of their school. Like, I did all these things. I'm like, it's time for me to be brave.
Rubber meets the road.
That's right. And so
I'm always down for it.
We made signs.
We did.
And our brother again moved from. So his story is crazy. We'll have him on sometime. But he moved from Australia because the lockdowns were getting so crazy. There were like he didn't
feel safe.
We're afraid for you.
Yeah,
you need to come back to the States. And so he'd been there 6 years. He loved it. He was actually going to get residency, and this blew up, and it changed his whole trajectory. Yep. So he was here. So we all go, and we stand proud with a big group. I would say very group of, people.
Didn't feel so alone anymore after that.
And then you finally found people who you felt were like you.
Got it.
They got it. And I would say you had varying degrees of people like me who I'm going down every rabbit hole to people who are just like, this just isn't right for being told what to do.
Feel that it wasn't right for them. I will tell you, If you are in your human design, if you don't have a 1 in your profile, find someone in your life who has a 1. They are invaluable. So when Corri says she did all this deep dive searching, she would share it with us, with her friends, with her family. And that was like, cool. I know her. I trust her. I know how deep she goes on stuff. So yeah, tell me the thing. And then I'm like, does it feel right for me? Yes, it does. Okay.
Yeah. Well, and I think this became what we were seeing. We were very, very blessed because, again, you had 3 siblings who were on the same page. You had a parent who was on the same page.
Yeah, our immediate family was
My husband, actually, he thinks I'm crazy, but he was on the same page with this.
Yeah, he wasn't about to. He's definitely not a rule follower.
No, he's the opposite. But his whole family was the opposite.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You saw families torn apart over this topic.
Families divided, for
and
sure.
that's when you went, again, something is wrong. Something is wrong with this picture.
If you have to coerce people, for those who maybe had a parent or family member in a care facility who was older, they were saying you couldn't see your family member unless you got it. And so, I mean, that's the definition of coercion. Like you're going to get fired if you don't get it. Like, this is not okay.
It's not
None
a free
of this
society.
Is okay. This is not a free society for sure. It's not okay.
So those things were the little pieces, the little trail that we started really following. So when you add up the forcing of various things, the government was saying something, the medical industrial complex was saying something, celebrities were saying the same thing, the media was saying the same thing, and it's like, this is not the society that we were in.
And anyone who had a differing opinion was shut down.
You're out.
In various ways.
And some were put in jail.
Yeah. In like many ways they were shut down.
So all that really said, this is not what we thought it was.
The world is not what we thought it was.
Oh, and just to put a little bow on work, they ended up right before the deadline for extension or for your
exemptions. Yeah.
It went away.
Yeah. Then you don't have to file them anymore.
You didn't have to file them anymore.
We're going to pause.
So nothing ever came of it, obviously, and we didn't lose our jobs over that. But a lot of people felt coerced and went and did it and had such remorse and regret over it. Like they said, there were people crying
and adverse events
doing it
too.
And then all of a sudden they were hiding adverse events that were happening in the thousands, and then they start saying that they're going to force kids and it's going to be on the schedule. And it's like, why? Again, everyone was saying kids were the least impacted. And by the way, we have the sickest kids in the world. I don't know, but we grew up in the 70s and 80s. And the schedule,
vaccine schedule for infants.
So this is also where I started, because by the way, I did all of them for my oldest son. I did everything, and I have such remorse now because I was one of the people who said, well, if the doctors are saying it, it must be safe.
You gotta trust them. They're the experts.
This is what opened my eyes to say, but the doctors now are just doing what they're told, because then they're getting kickbacks.
They're getting kickbacks. They're getting paid.
And by the way, they get kickbacks for every vaccine they give in the childhood schedule, flu included. So all of a sudden now I am very weary. Our primary care practitioner was trying to push
she tried to push
you.
It on
and
me
I
a
said,
lot.
well, I'm never going back to her again, because again, I would have expected, and then when you think about religion and church, I thought they would have said, you know what, follow your conscience. Just like when they talk about voting for president or, voting in
anything
politics.
Political.
Follow your conscience. Whatever you think is right for you, that's what you need to do. Nope, not in this instance.
Why is religion getting involved in my healthcare?
Why?
It's questionable.
Why? So again, it was like, okay.
This is all tied together, and it's one giant system that is technically not real.
It became, there is really no separation of church and state. No. It's all one. Then it became, okay, I see the medical complex. And again, I'm not saying that individual doctors or pharmacists are bad. I think they were taught
out of the same book.
That's right.
And they were taught to treat Western medicine, I will say.
Yep.
Taught to treat symptoms, not root causes.
Yep.
They are not here to cure you of anything.
No.
If you've ever noticed, have we cured anything in modern times that we should have by now?
No, we just have more shots to give people that make them more sick.
More pills, more sicker people than we've ever had in our entire history. And, then you throw in the food systems and all the poison we ingest in our daily environment. So yay, everybody, welcome to life.
So all of that then led to, yes, what's going on with the food system. Glyphosate, y'all, if you don't know anything about it, look it up.
It's Roundup, yeah.
It's Roundup, but it's sprayed on everything. It's in your bread. Everything is basically terrible for you.
So what does this mean?
We're painting a very bleak picture.
Right now, it's a very bleak picture. But you got to take a step back, which is what I'm here for. That Sagittarius energy. I'm here to take a step back and look at the bigger picture. What all of this is coming to a head in these last several years was to wake people up. There have been people that have been awake to all of these systems for decades. So kudos to you if you have been on the conspiracy bandwagon for all these years, because dang, you are a trooper. We were part of a very large wave that woke up in 2020 for all of what was going on, and we continued to have our eyes open to every system.
And we believe we signed up for this.
Oh, 100%.
Before we got here.
If you're born in this time, if you're alive right now, then your soul knew this was coming, because this is all part of the divine alignment of Ascension, which we've talked about. This was all meant to happen because what it does is it wakes us up. So there's even more layers and deep, dark things to the matrix. But with it, you know, it was the healthcare system that woke us up and then woke us up to everything else. For some people, religion is the thing that they had a really bad experience and that woke them up to the various systems. Other people, it could be a school thing. There's all these things. There's stuff that happens with children we're not going to discuss, but that's a catalyst for other people. So all of us being different might need a different catalyst to wake us up. What is the benefit of us waking up? We are here to crumble these old systems that don't serve humanity. These are
control mechanisms.
They're control mechanisms. The age of Pisces, which we have left now, was about top-down control. We had Pluto in Capricorn from 2008 to 2022, 23. We started the Aquarius thing. So Pluto is meant to destroy, and Capricorn being those systems. Anything that is built on solid foundation that is for the good of humanity, that has pure intention behind it, it will stay. It will last. Everything else has to change. Everything else will change, is changing, because it doesn't serve us. We have moved into the age of Aquarius, which is no longer about top down. This is no longer about someone being in a title that's bigger than your title. This is not something for that. This is about us gaining back our own sovereignty and being for the people. So to say that, all of this has been a part of the system to crumble so that we can build something new that's better.
And so when we talk about watching the movie is everything. And so if you still, again, get triggered by politics or anything that's out in the news, let that go, because it's part of the crumbling. It has to happen. So I won't go into specifics of what's happening in the news, but it's not about red or blue, right or left. It's not, because there are bad actors in both.
Yeah, bad actors in both.
So you have to have some neutrality when it comes to politics, and just know that it's all being played out on a world stage, and there's probably deeper things happening that we are not aware of. That's why we don't watch the news
anymore. A chess game, not a checkers game. What we can say is those of the light have won. We are in the fifth dimension and the fifth density, but we are still purging. The earth is still purging. We are still purging some of the old programming and the old conditioning that we've had. I'm definitely in the process of purging it. So don't necessarily look at the outside world for your experience. This goes back to what we were put in our homes to figure out was our own energy, to shut our eyes and ears to the outside world and to go inside to find what's true for you.
Yep.
So we encourage you to keep doing that, because we're in the middle of it, and we got a couple more years to go of unwinding, but man, we're getting to the other side, and I'm just excited about what the new reality that we'll create together will be.
Yeah, and when I was mentioning politics, Robert Kennedy Jr. is talking about the food system, right? And trying to make things healthy. Don't make that a right or a left. It is truly because our food has been poisoned for probably at least 100 years. So again, and we're not saying, because I will tell you, I've gone down rabbit holes where I'm like, I can't eat anything. There's nothing here to eat. Dana taught me a lovely prayer she made up, but that's what praying over your food is to bless the nutrients that are going into your body, to make sure those that you need stay with you and those that you don't, you purge, right? So bless anything and everything. Bless your water. The water with fluoride, that's a rabbit hole. Go down the water with and fluoride. I never
your
get
pineal gland.
The toothpaste, no fluoride. Doctors know, like I'm telling you, I'm on that kick, right? So I've gone down a lot of rabbit holes. You can decide what you want to go down or not.
It's true that our intention, this is going back to your divine sovereignty. We are pieces of source. We are God. We can transmute and change the energy of anything. So if I have, like, I'm going to eat cake sometimes because I really like cake, but I'm going to bless it and I'm going to love it and I'm going to celebrate that cake. And I'm going to know that anything harmful to me is not going to affect me. And then I'm going to enjoy it. Well, I'm not going to eat it every day though.
I know. Well, I know you've mentioned this before, but our DNA is changing,
yes,
and it's happening at a rapid rate. And so our bodies are actually so much stronger. And again, think of all the people all the different poisons that we've all put in our bodies for years and years and years, and we're still standing.
Our bodies are miracles.
They're pretty amazing.
Well, I do not disrespect my body by calling it a meat suit. That triggers me, honestly. My body is sacred, and it is a miracle that it is still functioning at this point.
As well as that,
as it is, and I'm so grateful for it. So treat it with as much honor and respect as you can.
Well, and I think that also brings up the different conversations that we've had, again, about our body and about our divinity, is as through all of this, and again, you go down rabbit holes, you can go to the other side of fear in a different way. Mm-hmm. Don't let that happen.
No.
It's more to be aware of what's going on. And then again, for blessings and treating our bodies. So again, for the past, since 2019, I think, is that when we've been going to our homeopath?
Yeah.
We have been trying to treat, and by the way, you will have parasites. Everyone has parasites in their body all the time, right? It's through the foods and the toxins, and there's all sorts of stuff. So we've been working on cleansing our body and trying to make that, that's just for us. It's not saying everyone. Yeah, but we want to be healthy because, again, it helps with joints and ligaments and aches and pains. And so trying to get ourselves in the best possible condition as we can. So up to you on what you want to do and how you want to approach it. But our point is saying, look at those patterns, see what's showing up. Don't just go, oh, well, that's just another thing. Or I think there are a lot of people out there who have kind of given up and just said, well, this is just how it is. It's not.
Really, we say this is whatever it was your awakening to the systems that are in place that are falling apart, or when you watch something, and it could be alternative news sources that are also promoting fear in a different way, is to not be in fear. But I look at what's, when I occasionally do see what's happening in the world, I'm like, oh, this is actually a really good sign that the stuff is crumbling. Okay.
Yes.
And so I'm going to put my energy and my focus on the beautiful next steps, the beautiful, what are we building next? The beautiful way I want to live. So where everybody has healthy food, everybody has, a comfortable home to live in. Everybody has, joyful work that they get to do, something that they feel fulfilling. So I put my energy in that, regardless of what's happening in the outside world. And when I see those things and those distractions, because that's all they really are, is it's a movie. Watch it like a movie, be detached from it and say, oh, another crazy thing? That's a really good sign.
That is. And the more that you focus on where we're going, the faster things are going to crumble.
We got to do this collectively.
It may get crazier.
It might.
But again, that's just a good sign. Don't get caught up in the crazy. Don't get caught up in all the XRP conversations. Don't get caught up in we didn't even talk about the financial system. Financial system's also collapsing.
Good, because it's a debt slavery system.
Because it's a debt slavery system. That's exactly right. So again, y'all, you've got to... I love going.
It's a passionate topic for her.
I know. I get so not worked up, but I get very impassioned about it because, I think that the more that people can see what's going on, then the quicker we can resolve and move to better things.
Agreed. Because we create our own individual realities, right? Like, so if you feel peace, then your outward reality will reflect that, joy, whatever. If you feel fear, again, outward reality. But there's also the collective reality that we are creating. So find the people that match your frequency. Hopefully you're on a frequency with us. And then we can collectively create that new earth, that new reality faster. We're going to get there. There's no going back. We will get there. We can't stop this train at this point. So have faith that it's going to be beautiful. But we get to decide how fast we get there.
Yeah.
And I would like to be on the high speed maglev train to get there.
And I would say also decide again, where do you want to put your energy or not? And you don't have, Dana doesn't really do research at all. She relies on me. So like she said, find a one and they'll provide it if you're open to it. But I would say for us, we're trying to be out of the medical system. We see a homeopath who is fantastic.
There's also functional medicine doctors.
Functional doctors are great because again, they're about root cause versus medicine or drugs.
And you have to rely again on yourself. So Corri will do the research and then I rely on my intuition. So what feels right for my body, what feels right for me, and then trust it.
Yep. But don't let fear get in the way, because I know a lot of people are harping on the financial system and the eventual collapse. But if you stay in that fear, then again, that's what you're going to create for yourself.
Money is a frequency.
So that's why we're
like,
we're doing this.
We're doing this. We're like, okay, well, we each have our own individual businesses, but we're just also flying by the seat of our pants, and we're going to trust the universe will provide, because that's what they keep saying. All these manifestors, all these things is like, bring your frequency into joy and abundance, and then it will come. And I don't need to know how. So.
Well, and this, so ending on a high note, the signs are showing up like crazy for me. 1111, 111 keep showing up all the time. I've drawn 2 King of Pentacles.
I love it. That's a very rich card.
Yeah. That to me is just a reminder to say, yeah, you're good. Don't worry about it.
I've decided I'm the universe's trophy wife, so it's all going to work out.
Well, and that's this whole collapse too is, I think what Dana said before, is really why we got out of marketing, because we were part of the problem. That's how we see it. Not if you're in marketing. That's
enjoy your job, love your job. It's amazing. How I felt about it didn't resonate with me anymore. I didn't feel good about the stories we were telling.
Yeah, I felt like we were tricking people, and we weren't, because again, I think people can discern, but also. Advertising works.
There's tricks to it. Hearing a message 7 times or a certain number of times, and how you have to repeat things, and being on brand. And
we call it the recency theory in media. We know you will buy it.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's all about influencer marketing.
But I remember back in the day, I was still doing brand marketing at the time, when if you gave your brand human characteristics and you connected with people on an emotional level, you could convince them to buy anything. And what did they do during 2020 is they caught us on an emotional level. So I just felt gross about it.
Amazon made billions.
Yeah, it did.
Because everyone was buying and shipping.
That's the other thing, people. When you question something, follow the money and you will find the source.
Follow the money. Because at the end of the day, the Matrix is all about the money.
It's all about the money.
And the debt system. So we're trying to get ourselves out of that. So what can you do to help?
Whatever you
facilitate,
feel, whatever you feel good about. You could also look at us like her husband and go, they're crazy. And I'll take that as a compliment, because to me it means I'm on the right track.
Yep. I think critical thinking is the most important thing you could do. If everyone is going one way, if they're zigging, maybe you want to zag.
If everybody in the media is telling one story, it usually means they're trying to distract you from something else going on. So look at what they're not talking about.
Well, and with that, this is the card that fell out. Enlightenment.
It's a beautiful golden ship flying through the sky, stars, a night sky. Mm-hmm. Absolutely gorgeous.
Anything you want to say to that?
Well, we're all on our own paths to enlightenment. We're all on an individual path to enlightenment, whatever that means and looks like for you, because everybody's on their own individual journey. But what I love about this is, to me, it's very much saying we all get there. Yeah. We all get to the destination.
We're on our own ship.
But we're all going to get there in whatever time you decide, because you're the boss of you.
Yep. Love it. Well, that was fun. That was fun for me.
I love it. You're so energized.
I was so into it.
I feel so cool about it.
Yeah. So if you want to put in the comments what your Matrix moment was,
I'd love to hear it.
Matrix
I'd absolutely love to hear it. If you want to know my little food blessing, I'll put it in there too.
It's a good one.
It's real quick.
Or if really you have any other questions,
or any topics you want us to cover,
let us know. And thanks for joining us today.
We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Thanks for catching up with us on the Cosmic Catch-Up. If today's episode sparked something in your soul, hit subscribe, leave a review, and share the magic with your fellow seekers. You can hang with us on Instagram at the Cosmic Catch-Up for behind-the-scenes updates and more cosmic goodness.
And if you're feeling the call to go deeper, we offer personal guidance through our individual practices.
All the details are in the show notes, and if it's aligned, we trust you'll feel it. Until next time, keep following the magic. The content we share reflects our personal experiences, insights, and opinions. We're not medical, legal, or financial professionals, and we encourage you to always do your own research, trust your intuition, and seek guidance from qualified experts when needed. Take what resonates and leave the rest. This journey is yours to explore.